I wanted to shift gears a little bit and consider some of the challenges or the pains that we have faced and that we face today. And I'm curious from your perspective, if you take a snapshot of where we're at right now, what would you say are your top 3 pains as Vivacity CEO today?
Only 3?
Yeah.
Huh?
Uh-huh. You get to only pick 3.
That's a very short list. Look, no. I'd say as a CEO, there's a couple of things that you have to do, right? I mean, you have to try and keep the lights on, right? And that means typically you gotta be selling something or helping to sell something or financing something, right? Bringing money in so you can do the things you want to. If you run out of money, the company does not exist and you have 0 chance of being successful at that point, right? And so keeping the lights on is pretty critical. Now, I wouldn't say that's my biggest worry though, but I think that's one of the biggest things that you need to do as a CEO or focus on. I'd say what I'm most concerned about is around ensuring that the team is working well and cohesive. And in the unstructured world of a startup, there are some things that cannot be, questionable. Like, you're going to get paid, right? And we want to offer a supportive environment, and we want to offer a collaborative environment, and this will help your career and the things you want to do in your life, and we want to be part of that and help in your journey. So I think making sure the team feels supported and feel heard, I wouldn't say we do an amazing job, but I'd say it is a focus of mine to try and make sure that that is part of our journey for everybody. The other part around that, which is somewhat related, is around the trust and the belief in the direction we're going, right? We have to set a direction, and we have to have the fortitude to say, look, that mountain there we're going to is the one we want to capture. I mean, that one might look pretty over there. We could probably get that one too, but this mountain is the one we want to climb, and making sure that direction is clearly defined and well explained, right? There's nothing worse than being in a company, you have no idea where you're going and why you're doing it, right? And I've been there. So I think, again, probably don't do an amazing job, but I like to think that we try and iterate on that of where we're going and provide that trust and belief in this is the direction and this is why. And again, I think somewhat tied to that is focus. Because you can do a lot of things in this world. You can do a lot of things with your career and your life, but there's only 24 hours in a day, right? And you're only going to work probably 8 of those. Well,
ideally.
Exactly. And so staying focused on the things that matter. And that's a hard job in and of itself. And I think we've done some really good things at Vivacity over the last 9 months to help us do that, to stay focused. I think we still have a journey to go on that and some progression. But keeping the team focused, keeping the team well, believing in the direction we're going, and making sure the team themselves are heard and have that belief. So,
yeah. Interesting. Thank you for sharing. Another one of my many curiosities that I've always wanted to ask you is a little bit of a projection. So coming into Vivacity, from my perspective, having built some very small scale, very simple technology products before, and being put in a position where now we have to aim higher in that sense. I thought one of the biggest challenges we would have as a small startup based in Kamloops would be to be able to get in the room and to have a seat at the table, so to speak. You even speak with these potential clients, right? City of Kamloops, City of Kelowna, City of Victoria, City of Prince George, or even other. We had a call at some point with the folks from who build Ubuntu, the operating system, and those were rooms I was certain I wouldn't be able to be in for at least another 10 or 15 years.
Mm-hmm.
And I was very surprised to see that we, as a small company, were able to be in those rooms. Did you know that we would be able to do that? Did you think this was going to be a challenge as well? Or I'm wondering if from your perspective, you're like, no, this is just how things work. And it's just another Tuesday at the office.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, non-issue, Stefano.
Deal.
Honestly, it's, I have done sales for a long time. And I think I've learned in that process there's a number of approaches you can take in sales and things of that nature. Ultimately, again, it comes back to something you mentioned earlier about majority of people you work with or come in contact with are inherently good. They have a job, they're trying to get something done, and they have, a goodness in them. So you got to knock, right? And if they don't answer, that's totally fine. But you knock enough times with enough people open the door and you get your foot in there and then you can discuss it. And I would say, that's a very important aspect of this, of just having the belief that you can knock on someone's door and you are okay with that rejection, and it's okay if people say no. And then the final thing is around relationships. You build relationships with people. We are selling to people, right? And if you have difficulty building relationships with people, then this job becomes a lot harder, right? But building up a rapport with something super valuable, and I found that's not in an insincere way, but in a sincere way, building relationships with people is actually super fulfilling, and it's good for them, it's good for you, and it helps the process massively. So yeah, I'd say we have been lucky, but luck only gets you so far.
Mm-hmm.
And there are some things you can do to help that process.
Awesome. Cool. Well, thank you for leading that process. It's been good.